Welcome, ladies. Welcome to Face Forward Summit. We have Dr. Barbara Taylor. She's a medical doctor here with us today, all the way from France, who is just very, very adventurous lady, let's put it this way. And she has the most interesting story to share with you, ladies. So welcome, Dr. Barbara. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show. I'm so
Thank you for
excited
having
to
me.
hear from you. Yeah, so if you could please tell us what was that deciding factor that made you leave your career here in the United States and move and travel and settle in France?
Well, I was an obstetrician gynecologist in the largest medical center in the world, and I had my dream life. It was everything I ever wanted. And I was diagnosed with a very severe form of arthritis that interfered with my ability to continue my career and do all the surgeries and things that I do. And the prognosis for my disease was that I would be an invalid in a wheelchair. And this was in 2001. And, I was just totally unprepared for anything like this to ever happen to me. I thought I would spend the rest of my life doing what I loved. And so I had to retire and sell my practice. And I was faced with one of those life events that, you know, made it to where I didn't even know who I was. My identity was challenged, everything. And I had to deal with this disease. And so I have this thing about turning my negatives into positives. And whenever life presents those things that we don't want, I think in terms of how can I take this awful occurrence and turn it into something wonderful. Well, the first thing I had to learn how to do was take care of myself instead of just take care of everybody else, which I worked on and started doing. I created my own exercise plan and all for my body. And since I was supposedly going to end up in a wheelchair, I thought, well, I want to live in different countries while I still can. Mm-hmm. So I started moving to different countries and spending at least a year in each one and learning languages, et cetera, et cetera. But the part of me that made me want to be a physician in the first place, and that is the productive, goal-oriented person that I am, it will never die. And so that part of me was still very much alive. I just had no way to channel it. And so all the while, as I was, moving and learning languages and doing all this stuff, I kept working on things that turned into what I'm doing now without a real vision of where I was going. But at first I started writing about menopause. Menopause is a topic that is the most neglected topic on earth, even though half of the world's population spends half of their lives in the state of menopause. It's the most neglected topic on earth. Yeah. And I just had this really active interest in it. So I decided to start writing what turned out to be a book on menopause. And I had never written a book before, and I just started writing, and I found it pretty easy. And then I had a book and got it published. And then I started working on a big seminar based on the book that's 2 days long. And the problem was I couldn't give the seminar because my body was too arthritic, and standing there for 2 days straight giving the seminar was just so hard on me. And so, I dabbled with things. And then I have a friend who has a YouTube channel, and she and I were talking once. I was living in Cape Town, South Africa. It was January 2016, and she and I were talking about, life. And I said something to the effect of, I love what I'm doing, but I still want to do more. And my passion is the menopause. And yet I can't just do seminars all the time because it's too hard on my body. Well, she starts going, oh my God. And she says, you need a YouTube channel. Well, okay, 2016, she says, you need a YouTube channel. And I say, what's YouTube? Because I didn't even know what it was. I really wasn't aware of any of it. Well, she starts telling me about how I can give this education, this seminar, while at home, standing in front of a camera, and women can see it anywhere in the world. And I thought, I can do that. And so I started making these videos, and that turned into writing articles, and then a podcast, and then I started doing one-on-one consultations, and I made the seminar into a webinar, and so it's just developed into this business. And it turns out that I'm the only person on the planet educating women about menopause. Everyone else is
Wow.
selling something or has an angle or something. And so that's what I do now, and it's turned into something that benefits women so greatly, and I just absolutely love it.
That is incredible, because this show is for busy professional women, busy girls who are really going after their big dreams, and they're building their careers while they're juggling their families and all kinds of other commitments they have. And we are talking about how to achieve that radiant beauty through all of it, and how to self-care through all of it, and how to feel amazing. And I know that this topic is kind of a taboo, like women don't talk about it, and mostly because they don't know much about it. I am one of them. I'm turning 45 tomorrow. And
Okay.
yeah, I know. And it's like, okay, my mom passed away when she was 45. So no one ever has taught me about menopause. Like, there was nobody to tell me about it, right? And I never asked, I never researched. And so now I'm starting to see these little changes in my body, and I'm wondering, could that already be it at this age? And I know that there are many women who are going through the same thing and just wondering, but not really daring to ask. So please tell us, Dr. Barbie. And by the way, Dr. Barbie on YouTube, you'll find her as a Menopause Barbie. How awesome
Menopause
is that?
Taylor. Menopause Taylor is what I use. I use my last name, so it's Menopause Taylor, but everyone calls me
Okay.
Menopause Barbie.
But it's just wonderful. I thought it was like very clever, very clever. So yeah, so could you please tell us what menopause actually is, like how and why is it so important for us to educate ourselves?
Well, menopause is the transition between your reproductive life and your non-reproductive life.
Hmm.
I call it puberty in reverse, because you go from being a child to being an adolescent, and the in-between part of it is called puberty, and that's those couple of years of awful, miserable mood swings, and all the things that kids go through when they're going through puberty. Well, menopause is the very same thing when you're about 50. It's puberty in reverse, and it's a couple of years of a transition. But the most important thing of all is not the transition itself. It's what comes afterward, and we call that post-menopause. And the big thing that's happening is you are losing your estrogen. Your estrogen is your female hormone. And I teach in a really fun, down-to-earth way, and I teach about the sex hormones by using the three bears, like Goldilocks and the three bears, and testosterone is Papa Bear's hormone, estrogen is Mama Bear's hormone, and progesterone is Baby Bear's hormone. Well, you're losing your hormone, your Mama Bear hormone.
Yeah.
And that has consequences. Estrogen is your fountain of youth. It is what kept you from aging before you lost it. So what most women know about menopause and notice about menopause is all the symptoms. There are 22 symptoms. And that's all important, but it's not as important as the fact that when you lose your estrogen, you also start having high risk for three very, very important diseases, and they are heart attack, osteoporosis, and Alzheimer's. Estrogen is what prevented them before. And women don't know this. Women think of it as, a couple of hot flashes and I can tough it out and I'll be fine. No one's teaching them that there's so much more to it. So my education is, I've turned my YouTube channel into a classroom. I mean, it's literally a classroom. And I'm always saying, watch the videos in order, watch them in order, because I literally teach you everything you need to know. And I use all these crazy props and models that I build and make and find, because I want you to enjoy the education. I want to entertain you and make you have fun, but I want you to know what you need to know. And my dream is for all women to get this education in their 20s. I mean, if they only knew what the big picture of their lives is like, everything would be so much better in every realm of their lives, their personal lives, their marriages, their relationship with their kids, their work lives. menopause affects everything and everybody, and yet no one talks about it. I just think it's crazy, and I'm just on this mission to change women's knowledge, and I like educating you directly rather than trying to teach doctors, because you have 10 minutes a year with your doctor. They don't have time to teach you anything.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not something you learn quickly overnight and it's just a quick soundbite and you're set. It's an education. So I give you the education you deserve, and hopefully women will start learning about it early in the process. But I really have tried to make every resource for every woman, regardless of her timeline, her learning style, or her budget. So that's why I have the book, the webinars, the consultations, the YouTube video, whatever works for you, it's out there.
Wonderful. Oh my gosh. So I can't wait to get started today. going going to be my new thing to learn, because it's important. It's important. And I know that it's not the same experience for two women, right? It's like everybody is going through it their own way. And so if you could please tell us, how would some of the symptoms affect the way we feel, and how would that then affect the way we perform in our careers?
The most common menopause symptoms are really not what people talk about. The ones that are most problematic for women are insomnia. They have trouble sleeping. Okay. Well, let's just take that one thing. If you have trouble sleeping at night, what does that mean? It means that the next day you're fatigued.
Yes.
What does that mean? It means that you're going to be forgetful. What does that mean? It means that's going to make you kind of moody and irritable, maybe even depressed. Well, that's going to make it so that you have struggles and strife and anxiety at home, and that's going to make it hard for you to go to sleep. So right there, though, that set of symptoms is a vicious cycle that will affect every aspect of your life. Separate from that, there are hot flashes and night sweats. Women don't talk about their vaginas, but one of the most common symptoms is your vagina starts itching because it gets dry. But what's really happening is it's shrinking. And women don't know that. They have no idea that they're losing their vaginas. And there's a way to prevent everything. And so I teach you all the options for managing your menopause your way in every category. I cover diet, lifestyle, vitamins, minerals, supplements, herbs, hormonal medications, non-hormonal medications, mechanical options. I cover it all. All I do is teach. I don't have an angle. I don't have a product. I have nothing to sell you. It's just education. That makes it you're very powerful when you have that kind of knowledge about all of it's a smorgasbord of options. You have so many choices, but they are not all created equal. You need to know the benefits, the risks, the pros, the cons, and the limitations of each. So I teach you all that. And then all you have to do is match it to you, tailoring it to yourself. And you'll make the best decision for you. It's always about you. No one else matters. So this is all about tailoring all the information to the individual and letting her do it her way with knowledge of the consequences and the trade-offs, because it's all about trade-offs.
Right. So your menopause your way, basically. That's your
way. And we all have the right to have our menopause our way. I believe that the rest of your life can be the very best of your life at menopause, because you have more control than you've ever had before, but you have to know what you're doing. And most women don't have the first clue. And that's what I want to change. I want to give you the tools, like a toolkit, so that you can go forward in your life knowing what's going on, knowing how to get what you want, and doing things your way successfully, without saying, well, why didn't anyone tell me that I was losing bone? I had no idea. That kind of thing.
So you touched up on some of the changes in our physical body that will happen, and how does that affect the way we look? Is there going to be because I know changes to our hair, right? Because that's all coming from the lack of hormones now. The hair will not be as bouncy and shiny. It's gonna get different. So what can we expect?
Well, I tell women that estrogen is like a great big oil can for your body. It lubricated everything. Your skin, your eyes, your hair, all of your mucous membranes, your vagina, So everything was nice and radiant and supple and soft because of estrogen. Well, when you lose your estrogen, all those things dry up. Your hair gets dry and brittle, your skin gets dry and starts wrinkling, your vagina starts itching. So every part of your body that needed any kind of lubrication, like your joints start hurting because they needed lubrication. It's all connected. And see, those symptoms are all very different, but when you start realizing the common thread, that it's all about lubrication, you have a light bulb go on in your head. You go, oh my God, no wonder I have this, and this, which didn't seem related, but they're all one thing.
Wow.
The loss of the lubricant. So all those things happen. Without estrogen, your metabolism will slow down. Just, okay, at puberty, you know how your body shape changes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Guess what? Every hormonal event causes your body shape to change. So at menopause, your metabolism slows down. So what happens? Instead of your nice little hourglass shape, we start losing our waistlines and gaining weight in our belly area.
Mm.
Women hate this, and they don't know why it's happening. Well, it's because your body has redistributed where you put weight, because now the hormone that kept that from happening is gone.
I see.
So these things are all, I make sense of everything. My education is all about logic. I make everything very logical so that you understand why things are happening and you understand how to go about fixing them. And you can still do it any way you want, but you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Wow, that is something. So how can we prepare? I guess this brings up the self-care again. Like we always get back to that. So
Yeah.
how can we prevent it, or how can we delay it, or how can we make it easier on ourselves
Start
through
learning early.
daily self-care?
The key is start learning about these things early, because that will set the stage for your ability to prevent a lot of what happens. But you know, when you don't know what's going to happen and it all hits you over the head like a ton of bricks, and you find yourself in that state of insomnia, fatigue, forgetfulness, when you're already so distraught and miserable, you don't do very well at fixing anything.
Mm-hmm.
You're too far behind. But if you get the education in advance and you know what's coming and you start planning ahead and you start preparing and you know how to recognize what's happening, you can jump on it. And that's the power. The power is knowing how to recognize it. I deal with women in my consultations who have been struggling for years and years, and they had no idea what was wrong with them. They thought they were going crazy. They've gone to doctor after doctor. They've gone to doctor for each thing individually. They have no idea that it's all one thing. And then they find me and they're like, no one told me that this was all one thing. And then they're shocked at how they can fix everything because now they know what they're doing. It's like taking care of the real problem versus dealing with all the extraneous things instead of the actual problem. And that changes everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I love how passionate you are about your
Everybody
mission.
tells me that.
This is like, it's coming from your heart. Like I can feel it all the way from France. It's amazing.
You know what? I see this education that I give other women as a way of teaching you how to do with your menopause what I've done with my arthritis. I mean, I never ended up in a wheelchair. It's been 19 years. I'm a huge yogi. I'm very fit. And I want to teach you how to do with your menopause what I've done with my arthritis. I want you to turn your negatives into positives, know what you're doing, be successful, be confident, and see that you have the power to do this. And I call it meno-power because I see it as, you know, the fact that I ended up with this awful disease is what enabled me to give you this education to prevent having other kinds of problems in your own life. And to me, it's the greatest thing ever. And had I not gotten arthritis, I wouldn't be doing this and I wouldn't be helping women all over the world. But because I got arthritis, I help more women this way than I could ever possibly have hoped to help in the Texas Medical Center even though it was the largest one in the world. I mean, the difference is phenomenal. And I'm doing something that no one else is doing. So I love it.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's definitely your calling. So yes, yes. It's I want to ask you, what's your own favorite self-care routine? What do you enjoy doing?
I get up first thing every morning and I do a workout that I've designed for myself with my arthritis. No impact, no speed, no heavy weights. And I worked a whole lot on balance, flexibility, and core. I I reserve my morning
Mm.
for just that. I won't have breakfast with people. I won't let anything interfere. I never schedule appointments early. And I take my time and do what I need first thing in the morning for myself. And it's my selfish time. It's my thing. And I don't forfeit it for anything.
That is, I can relate because I am an early bird, and the best thing I can do is like wake up at 5 a.m. on the weekend, and people are like, "Are you crazy?"
Oh,
I'm
I
like,
love it. I'm with
"No, that's when the house is quiet. That's when I get me time. That's when I get to like take everything slowly and just
you.
go through my tea routine or my lemon water recently." Hot
Mhm.
lemon water routine, and I do my yoga, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So that quiet time to ourselves is very important and nurturing as
And it
well.
makes the whole rest of the day so much better. I feel like I can deal with stress much better. I'm calm. I've got my selfish thing out of the way. Nothing interferes.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Dr. Barbie, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being on our summit here and sharing all this important information with us today. I cannot wait to jump on your webinars and watch them. And I know that you actually want to gift one to our audience today. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the education, the whole education based on my book from beginning to end is now a series of webinars, 15 webinars. And I'm so dogmatic about watch them in order. So my gift is the first webinar is free of charge, and you can get it as a gift from this event by simply, going through the steps that are set up for doing so. And that's what I want all women to be able to do, so they can get the beginning of the education and then take it from there and do whatever else you want to get the rest of it. But do get all of it.
Thank you. Thank you for offering that. Thank you for bringing that to our ladies. I know that every single one of us ladies will benefit from that. I want to thank you for being here with us.
Thank you so much.
And ladies, wasn't this amazing? I mean, how important is this and how valuable was this information today? I know that it definitely it's going to change how I do things from now on, and I will definitely take this as in my next. I like to educate myself, so as my next level of my education. So thank you, Dr. Barbie, and ladies, let's meet in the webinar. Click the button below and connect with Dr. Barbie.
Very
Good
good.
day, everyone.
Bye.